Hi Euro, it's Mr. Walker. So this video is about what is on the AP exam this year. So the AP exam is on May 13th at 1 p.m. and it is only going to be a DBQ. That's right, there's no multiple choice, there's no short answer question, there's no LEQ, it's going to be a DBQ. And this DBQ is going to be a little bit different than DBQs of the past. Instead of 7 points, it's going to be 10 points. Also, instead of 7 documents, it's going to only assess you on 5 documents. 4 of them are going to be text. 1 of them is going to be visual, so either art or cartoon or something like that. And I've included a rubric of it. It's also not going to cover the whole periods 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's just going to cover periods 1 through 3. So that's from 1450 to 1914. So it's before World War I, before the Russian Revolution. It's going to go all the way from basically the decline of feudalism and the Renaissance that we started the year with, all the way to sort of like the long-term causes of World War I or imperialism. That's what that is going to be. So anyway, if you look at this course at a glance, I'll attach a PDF of it. This week we'll be reviewing this, Renaissance and Reformation and Exploration. The following week, we'll be looking at absolutism and constitutionalism, scientific revolution and enlightenment, and finally the French Revolution. That's next week. The week after that, we'll be looking at industrialization and unification of Germany and Italy and imperialism, 6 and 7. And then there's nothing that Unit 8 or Unit 9, these chapters are not covered at all. So it goes up to Unit 7. And you'll have progress checks as we go along on it. All right, so the AP exam, it's going to be 45 minutes, and it's going to be based on this rubric that I put on your, that I uploaded. I put 2 different versions on it. It's the same information, just looks different ways. The first part, and you'll notice it's similar to what we did before. It's sort of a mix between a DBQ and an LEQ. There's a historical context point. So remember, you're going to have 5 different documents. It's going to be some historical context. You're going to have to write a thesis. That gives you a point. And then out of these 5 documents, if you can describe 2 documents, you get 1 point. If you can support your argument with 2 documents, you get an extra point. If you can support your argument with 4 documents, then you get 2 points. And so 4 out of the 5, you can get 2 points. If you just support your argument with 2 documents, you get another point. Okay. Then this is the POV cap part. Do you explain the point of view, purpose, historic situation, or intended audience, how that makes the document more or less reliable? And if you do that for 1 document correctly, you get 1 point. If you do it for 2 documents correctly, you get 2 points. Then finally, or not finally, but you get outside evidence points. So this is evidence that you come up with on your own, from your own head, that has to do with the argument. So in the time period, let's say you're studying the DBQ, something about the Renaissance. You happen to come up, you want to write about Michelangelo and the Statue of David and talk about how it's a Renaissance document. I mean, that would value of the Renaissance. You could use that for a point. And let's say you also want to write about Machiavelli and his ideas from the Renaissance. That could count as another point. So it's evidence that you're coming up with, not one that's found in the documents. And so if you use that in your argument, 2 different pieces, that's a point each. And then finally, do you have a complex understanding of the or a complex analysis? That means, with different documents, do you say this document's similar to the last one, or it is different than the last one, or are you making connections between different periods? Like, for example, if it's about the Renaissance and you say, this is similar to Romanticism from the 1800s, or this is similar to realism, or making some other connection between periods, or this is like Baroque art, if that's what you're arguing about. Or if it's about the French Revolution, you can say this is similar to the Russian Revolution, or the English Civil War. So that's what a complex understanding would be about. Okay, so that's the overview of what the exam will be about.